Hello and welcome to the video. This week we're visiting the Ballarat Botanic Gardens. These gardens were founded in 1857 at a time when only the big colonial capitals had gardens of their own. Out here in regional Australia it was almost unheard of. The first curator, George Longley, even lived on the site in a canvas tent while he shaped the paths, planted the first trees and turned an old police paddock into one of the finest gardens in the colony.
She was born to get away. Hear that two-tone humming, headed out to...
Let's return to Joseph Jenkins, the Welsh swagman that we met in Malden last week. He had some things to say about the Ballarat Botanic Gardens as he lived and worked through this area for 25 years, through the 1860s till the early 1890s. Jenkins paid sixpence to cross Lake Wendouree on a boat from Ballarat, and he proclaimed that the gardens were one of the finest he had ever seen. More than just a labourer, Jenkins was also a poet, with his poems being performed at the annual Eisteddfod on St David's Day, the 1st of March in Ballarat during those years. Each year that he performed, he won the competition. Here is a short passage from one of his poems, just so you can get a feel for how he worked. The proudest man was never made to laugh and scorn the pick and spade. Our duty is to do our best before the time we'll have to rest, and make this world as we go round a better shape than it was found. Many of Jenkins' poems were written in Welsh, and he actually proclaimed in his diaries that he was a poor speaker of English, and yet he managed to win competitions every year. What a spectacular man, and it's a proud heritage.
Of course, the day that we decide to go for a walk in the gardens, it's raining. But it didn't deter us. It was actually added to that atmosphere, and there wasn't too many people there, so it was lovely just to wander around. Now, I'm not even going to try to name everything. I know some flowers and that, but I just want you to enjoy. It was very stunning. The conservatory was beautiful when we went inside. And of course, I had to take some photos of the gnomes as my mother-in-law loves them. So I hope she enjoys that bit. But yeah, it was so enjoyable. We really did love it. Walking down this avenue with all the majestic trees, you feel small to realise how old they are and how tall, and they're still going so strong. It's absolutely marvellous.
A long line of busts will surprise you as you walk through the gardens. When George Longley began this place in 1857, Australia didn't even exist as a nation. And when Joseph Jenkins visited a couple of decades later, the colonies were only beginning to talk about federation, still far yet from certain. But here in Ballarat is the only place in the country where you can literally walk through the history of the nation and see the men and the women who have led it, from Edmund Barton in 1901 through to Anthony Albanese at the time of filming. It's a fascinating wander through time. Lake Wendouree has been Ballarat's heart for more than a century. A place for rowing, walking and watching the weather roll in across the water. On days like this, with the sky low and the rain drifting across the lake, the birds take centre stage. Ibises stalk the shallows, water hens darting through the reeds, ducks and black swans everywhere. The whole lake seems to belong to them. It's not just a pretty spot. It's one of the city's most important wetlands, a refuge for bird life, and a living reminder of how much nature still shapes Ballarat.
The conservatory is one of the centrepieces of the Ballarat Botanic Gardens, a bright glass wall home for seasonal floral displays that continues a tradition stretching back to the 19th century. It sits in the heart of the gardens, where the gardens have always shown off their best blooms, from begonias to elaborate bedding displays. Ballarat has had a very cold start to their spring, so we were very lucky to see what flowers that were out. The gardens were alive with colour, and Justin was lucky. He saw quite a few orchids, which is his favourite.
Some gardens are so big that you need a packed lunch and an overnight bag to get around them, where the Ballarat garden is actually quite small and contained. When I say it's small, it isn't crowded or cramped. There's plenty of space to walk around. You get big wide vistas and then little snippets and close-ups of things. And it's truly a remarkable thing. And it's got constantly as the backdrop the lake in the background, which gives it a sense of being bigger and more spacious than it actually is. It's quite beautiful. The gardens are dotted with marble statues, most of them donated in 1884 by Thomas Stoddart, who brought 12 classical figures back from Italy to inspire a love of art in this young gold rush city. Carved from Carrara marble, they show gods, goddesses and the four seasons, and they helped earn Ballarat its reputation as a city of statues. We were quite surprised to see so many beautiful statues in the gardens, and it was truly a remarkable sight and added a lot to the ambience of the place.
The gardens were stunning. There was such a variety of so many different areas, different trees and plants. Everywhere you went, it was go around a bend, it was something different. I'm wordless. I just loved it.
We've only captured some of what's on offer in these gardens in our video, and it's an ever-changing landscape with new areas being developed and new plantings going in. So it's well worth a stop if you're in the city of Ballarat. We thoroughly enjoyed a morning here, and you can spend hours here and not get bored. However, it's time for us to move on. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video.
We certainly enjoyed our time here. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.